Right, Andy, we're here at Weston Pools, and shallow fishing is one of the dominant tactics here. It's my favourite way of catching fish, and I want to know, what are your 5 key rigs really? What do you take when you come in here to fish shallow?
Well, I've been coming here a little while now, and I can't say I've mastered it, but the 5 key rigs which I can't be without, I'm just going to start you with my first fixed rig.
Yeah.
So it's a Richie Wilson #2 dibber. I'll use this for maggots, casters, pellets. We've been doing a pellet feature today, and this aids a pellet rig lovely. The whole rig in length is like 26 inch in total.
Nice.
Got a 3-inch hook length of 0.13, 16 hook, 0.17 mainline. As I said, a #2 Richie Wilson dibber, 2 #8 back shot located 3 inches just above the float. I think a long lash is important, especially when the conditions are like today, especially when it's flat calm. It's just enough to keep the pole tip away from the float, but obviously you're still in touch. Like the only bit of slack line is just that 2 or 3 inch there.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important, especially when you're fishing long lashes.
So why do you use a 0.2 and not a 0.1? What's the reason for that?
The only reason I use a #2 over a 1 is just it creates a little bit more splash when you're working a rig, especially with pellets. It's just a little bit more buoyancy.
Get a bit more shot down your line.
Yeah. So well, today I'm only using one #10.
Yeah.
But if I was using, say, like a caster or a maggot, you could probably pinch another #10 or a #11 on.
Yeah, I think the #2s you get 2 10s on, can't you?
Yeah. But obviously we got a pretty heavy-ish hook bait, and we just wanted something that was still visible, you know.
Nice.
But yeah, that's rig #1.
Yeah, it's a brilliant rig. That's something that style of rig is exactly what I use.
And to be fair,
Deadly.
this rig you use across the whole complex, not just Belvedere, but every lake you.
I always find that one good on canal. You know, when
Yeah.
you're fishing for them hide.
Yeah.
That's always a brilliant lake.
Well,
For that.
we'll just go on to rig #2. This is the one I actually love fishing for with hide. But again, it's brilliant for F1s, carp. It's just a go-to rig. It's brilliant for everything: casters, maggots, worms, pellets. As I have done with the dibber, I've just pinched an extra shot off because it's a really fine bristle. It's actually a 1.2mm fibre bristle. It's a Richie Wilson 3x8 Winter Maggie.
Trying to get that. Nice. Oh yeah.
So I'll just talk you through the rig material again. So we've just got a 0.17 mainline, 3x8 Winter Maggie, 2 #8 back shot again, located about 2 or 3 inches from the float. On this rig I got 4 #12s. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's 4 #12s. 3-inch hook length, 0.13 and a 16 hook, just with a little hair rig band. Again, that's okay for pellets, maggots, casters. Quite a nice long lash again, and I think that's really important, especially with hide, because as ravenous as they are, you've still got to have a bit of finesse with your rig as well. And
Yeah.
as we've said, just keeping that pole tip away from them, it just creates that ravenous bite. And hopefully you're going to say 9 times out of 10 they'll just pull the elastic out. But yeah, that's our 2 fixed rigs, which I couldn't be without. And again, I couldn't. Those rigs are used across the complex. Now for rig 3, 4 and 5, obviously overshotting is not allowed at this venue. And I think the next best rig to an overshotted rig is a jigger.
Nice.
But what we use, why I've got 3 rigs which are all like duplicates, is just literally just different depths. We've shortened this one down a little bit today because the fishing's been so good against the pads. But across the lakes all on site, and I say on site because we got 1 off site, we just generally, I set up 3 jiggers, 2 foot, 3 foot and 4 foot, and that pretty much covers every lake. And the only reason I do different depths is because you can just lower the lash length, so you just in connection with the rig a lot easier. The only time I would Oh, sorry, I was just going to run you through the material of the rig as well.
Let's have that first.
A little bit heavier mainline. We've got an 019 mainline, just obviously a little rig stop there just to stop the float. 5 number 8s. The float is a Richie Wilson 0.4 jigger.
Yeah.
It might seem quite heavy to be fishing in like 18 inches of water, but on these lakes in particular, there's like loads of aerators and spinners, and it can create a lot of tow. The lakes can be affected by wind as well, but literally using a heavy float will just keep you in contact and just keep that bait really still, and the only movement is literally that time when you're jigging. So yeah, we set those up on site, 2 foot, 3 foot and 4 foot, 5-inch hook length. That's an 013 hook length again, 16's hook. We just got a little Robin Red 4mm on there.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just really bog standard stuff really. If we was going down onto the clay pit, I'd have these set up then to like probably like 6 and 10 foot deep, because you've got a lot more water to go at down there.
It's a deep lake, that one, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like probably 30 to 40 foot in places.
God knows how deep that place is. It's absolutely solid with fish, isn't it?
Oh, it's if you haven't been there, you've got to go and experience it, because there's no other lake like it. And honest to God, it's one of my favourites, to be honest. You see pretty much every fish that comes into your peg.
Yeah, when they're right up in the water. But you catch them dead deep on a jigger as well, don't you?
Yeah. Like I said, I've set them up to like top 4 deep, and you think it's like. The only thing I would say, going back to the rig as well, we set them up on a 0.6 RW jigger again, but 0.6. It's just so you've got a bit more weight
on
in
the
that.
clay pit, yeah. Because when you've got a lot of slack line around you,
yeah, it just keeps you in more direct. Just a couple more number 8s.
So what depths have you set them up to?
For on site,
yeah,
2 foot, 3 foot, and 4 foot.
Nice.
I have trimmed this one down a little bit because the fishing has been so good. Yes. It's pretty much, well, I say pretty much, it is all the same material, I mean.
Exactly the same, isn't it?
5-inch hook length.
Nice.
Straight onto a 5-inch hook length, straight onto 5 number 8s, and then you've just got that jigger then working to wherever the stop is. And obviously these ones are located a little bit higher up there.
You also have a bit of flexibility with that as well in terms of moving your stop.
Yeah, what we have done today is, because obviously we've got a great feature in front of us with the lily pads, the fish are probably sat like 8-10 inches deep, and some are even shallower. So what we can do with this rig is actually move the stop down, and obviously I've got inch marking, so just something I've done myself. Everybody does it. Literally, if I felt that was too deep, I could actually move it down a couple of inches. If I felt that was too deep. And the other good thing is, if you thought, I've lost the fish now, you can actually go back deeper as well. Yeah,
so it gives you that flexibility during the match. So you don't need to set a million rigs up.
No, you could literally set up one for on site. Then you could literally set up one jigger, 4 foot deep, and it covers you from everything from 5 inches deep all the way up to 5 foot. The only little bit thing awkward really is obviously the slack line you'd have then, and that's the only reason I've set up duplicate rigs, is just to eliminate the slack line and miss bites.
Just keeps you a little bit more direct to the fish, doesn't it?
Yeah, on its day, that especially on the clay pit, it can be brilliant as well, because the water clarity is so clear. Maybe pushing it down to say 18 inches deep and having like a 4 or 5 foot lash and literally flicking it right past the pole tip.
Yeah. Because
honestly, like I said, if you haven't been there, it's a little bit awkward to say, but once you've been in, and you can understand what it is, and it's not daunting by any means, but it's just a really interesting lake.
It's just a different lake. It's totally unique.
It's totally unique.
Full of fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
rammed with F1s and angry hard fighting carp.
Very angry hard fighting carp. I'd love to get. I've done a live match on there, but we'll definitely have to go and do some videos on there in future for the main channel, because it's a fantastic lake. So you've got the 5 rigs there.
Yep.
Obviously your jiggers and your fixed rig. When would you sort of opt for each one? Is there certain, if you were in a match, say on an open water peg, would that mean you'd be more inclined to use the fixed rigs, or does it tend to You sort of work out on the day?
Yeah, I think you've just got to take each peg in like as it comes. I wouldn't go, like personally, I wouldn't go with a set plan as in like, oh, just because there's lilies here, I'm just going to use a jigger or a fixed rig. I think it's important to cover all bases because every day, every peg is different. As long as you can come prepared to be like, oh, I've got a couple of rigs set up, or I've got one rig to, and again, down to work rate, just keep adjusting that bead. I think that's really important, especially with F1s, because they're constantly up and down, and it can be literally 2 inches, and it can be going from having no bites to £100 and literally just changing your depth that much.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, there's 5 rigs. If you want to come and have a day at Weston Pools, you don't need loads of tackle. No. There's 5 simple, easy rigs to set up.
5 simple rigs, a couple of bags of pellets, and you're going to have a bumper mega days fishing. You know, it's brilliant. And that's not just on Belv, it's every lake, every peg.
Yeah, I know. I had a brilliant day this week. 200 odd pound on Stretton on a jigger, exactly how they've set up. Same on canal. I know Weir's brilliant for it as well.
Yeah.
Casters and pellets, maggots, covers everything. So thank you very much, Andy.
No problem.
Brilliant.